Hey, what's up? If you've been wondering where I am, I'm in New York. That's right. I've officially moved to New York City, and I know this is going to come as a huge surprise to some of my followers, but I'm going to try to quickly explain what's happened in the past year to catch you up. A year ago, between the days of April 19th to the 25th, I received a word from the Lord telling me to move. At first, I had no idea where he wanted me to move. All I knew was that the Lord was getting ready to pluck me out of where I was. I'd actually received a little hint at this 2 years prior in 2020. When I was walking in downtown Memphis, I was looking around me and I kept getting a whisper on the wind of a bit of be ready to be blown away type of thing, like lifted up by the wind type of thing. And I didn't really think much of it then, but then last year it became much more real to me. I took it, I prayed on it, I tucked it in my back pocket and I left it alone. Fast forward to September of last year. That's when everything started getting real. It was a little bit before September, but September was when I finally came to the reality of it myself. Not only had I received confirmations from other people around me, but I'd also received personal private words while I was awake, and as well as dreams and visions while I was asleep of me moving and going to other places. It became clear to me really quickly that I needed to get up and start moving. I started preparing myself for the uprooting that I knew was coming. Considering that I had the confirmation that the Lord wanted me to move, I had no idea where he wanted me to move. There was one place in particular that was in the back of my mind, but of course, I was not brave enough to address that one. So instead, I presented the Lord with 3. This sounds very much Jonah-esque right now. Like, Lord, why don't I go here? I don't want to go there. This sounds so arrogant, but the 3 options that I gave the Lord. I presented to him. So I asked the Lord whether or not he wanted me to move to Chicago, Arizona, or New York City. Chicago particularly had a lot of different opportunities there. I had family there. I know a lot of people there. When it came to Arizona, I don't know why, but I've always been drawn to Arizona. There's been something in me that really wants to go at some point. For some reason, I feel like I'm going to end up there. Lastly, New York City, which was quite frankly the one that was the most terrifying to me. A lot of people don't know this, but back when I was in college, I wanted to go to New York. It's where I wanted to spend my life. It's where I wanted to do everything. It's where I knew I could pursue my dreams in music and acting and creating content and films and all types of things for the world, for God. No, it's not that one. Couldn't be that one. I asked the Lord to confirm to me which one of these 3 he wanted me to move to. And y'all, when I tell y'all, the Lord showed up and showed out in so many different ways. I'm talking coworkers showing up suddenly and being like, yeah, I lived in New York for the past 12 years. I just moved here just recently. I'm talking random phone calls in the middle of the night from New York. Dreams and things like that happening. Being gifted books and items that have to do with New York. It all kept happening, and I still didn't want to believe it. I still denied the fact of whether or not the Lord wanted me to move to New York. And then one night I watched a sermon where the pastor said, the scariest option is the God option. Reason why this is because you're not depending on yourself. It would be much easier for me to go somewhere like Chicago because I know people there and I have connections there. But the best option available for God to get the most work out of me would be to send me somewhere that I'm completely terrified of going. And that was New York. It's ironic because I don't have fears about going to Arizona. I have a desire to go to Arizona and I have no idea why, but here I am. So I accepted my call. New York was the decision and I was terrified out of my mind. There were actually even multiple moments where I'd questioned, am I going delusional? Am I losing my mind right now? Do I need to be checked into Lakeside? Like, what's going on here? I had no idea what was going on, but the Lord did, and I was willing to trust him. Fast forward to how I was going to get there and when it was going to happen. I kept hearing the Lord speak in my spirit, spring. One day I was sitting in a Panera Bread and it was just a sunny day outside. Everything looked fine, right? And as I'm just sitting there, I look up at the window and in the flash, in the blink of an eye, suddenly it started snowing. Out of nowhere. it just started snowing. Had no idea that it was supposed to snow today. The forecast had said something about flash freeze or something, but no idea that it was supposed to snow. And as I'm sitting there, I clearly hear springtime. And I say, why springtime? I heard within my spirit, because that's when gardens bloom. And most of my friends know this. And even when it comes to my name and everything, the Lord has been speaking a lot to me in garden imagery over these past 6 months. It's been like a lot of garden imagery. Everything has had to do with seeds and planting and germinations and all of this. And yeah, I knew in that moment that was my confirmation. Sometime during springtime was when the Lord was going to have me move. I didn't know when, but he did. Because I started panicking. I started like, Lord, what the heck? New York is a big city and I'm a small person. And I didn't know what the Lord was planning on doing with me in New York. All I know was that he wanted me to move there. So one thing a lot of people didn't know, but a few of my close friends knew, was that over the past few years, I've actually been dealing with a court dispute, a case over something that happened. It was a near-death experience in 2020. It had been going on for over 2 years, almost 3 years. And I presented this before the Lord. I said, God, I have no idea how you expect me to move with this going on in my life. How am I supposed to move? And I started feeling anxiety and panic about it. Like, oh my God, how am I planning a move when this is happening? No. I just need to stop trying to move. I can't move right now. Then suddenly a spirit of peace came over me. I suddenly felt so calm. And it's as though the concern and the anxiety had been plucked out of the back of my mind. I remember saying out loud to myself, Lord, if it be your will that you want me to move to New York, I need you to settle my court case. And I believe that you will. 3 days later, I got a phone call from my lawyer saying that the opponent in my case ended up settling and offered the maximum amount to me that I deserved. God made a way. And at that point, I knew there was no running from this. I knew I had no option and I had to move. And here I am in New York. Yeah, I've been immediately thrown into the culture shock of New York City and I'm getting used to it. It is definitely very different than living in the South in Tennessee, but I feel all right here. It's weird. Doing certain things here have given me a nostalgia feeling, almost as though I've done it before, but I haven't done it. So I'm also receiving different like revelation in that too. But yeah, I'm here in New York City. That's where I've been. That's why I haven't posted much in the last few weeks. I am here to pursue what the Lord has set before me. And I know that has to do with me being in the industry and music and acting and performing and all that. And I don't know exactly how, but I know that he does. So I'm going to trust him during this journey. Yeah, thank you guys for being a part of my journey so far and watching this. I'm really thankful to be here because I know that I'm here by the will of the Lord. And yes, for all of my family and friends that are watching this, I miss you. And yeah, grief hit me hard when I got here because I'm in a whole new place. And the Lord warned me of this, but you know, it's different when you actually experience it. I ask that you guys please stay tuned for this journey. And until next time, keep me in your prayers. I love you guys. Bye.